Making headlines. The President makes positive announcements during his Huadu Atoll tour. The Speaker of the Parliament lauds the President for the swift action taken by the administration to clamp down corruption and abuse of power in the Maldives. And the Islamic Minister departs to Pakistan to attend the Muslim World League Conference.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiza Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. Incumbent President Dr. Mohamed Moise, since assuming office in November in 2023, made it his mission to visit the islands across the Maldives and listen to their concerns and aspirations firsthand. In his 1 year in office, he visited many islands, met with the people and almost every local council. In the week or so since the turn of the new year, the president already visited islands in 3 atolls, including the recently ended tour of the islands in Huadu Atoll.
During his 3-day visit to the atoll, the President had made positive announcements that have certainly reignited the hopes of much-needed development and progress throughout the atoll. In his stop in each of the 9 islands, President Dr. Moise shared his vision and plans for the development and prosperity of the nation. He had pledged to address common concerns in almost every island, including infrastructure, land reclamation, erosion, and facilities. President Dr. Moise reassured the people that his administration will fulfill his electoral pledges, adding that the state budgets for the years 2025, 2026, and 2027 have been dedicated to that end. The President has repeatedly said that the purpose of his visit to the islands is to hear the concerns and aspirations of the people firsthand and serve according to the will of the Maldivian people. The President's key announcements in Huadu Atoll include that an additional $32.4 million will be released to local vendors next week, and that the government will propose amendments once the Parliament reopens to fulfill his promise to the Women's Development Committees. Additionally, the President offered a cost-cutting plan for local councils, pledged bulk procurement of rock boulders for infrastructure projects, and promised a bright future for local farmers. Furthermore, he announced that the handover of the Gedoruedia housing flats to recipients will take place before Ramadan. However, President Dr. Moise insisted that his administration would not compromise the country's ethics and moral values in the pursuit of infrastructure development, while urging for unity and camaraderie among the Maldivian people. He also stated that it was a duty of governments to usher in development needed by the public, and that his administration seeks to fulfill that aspiration as well as bring peace and stability to the nation, fully actualizing the stability of the nation. The President indicated that in the past 14 months, the nation was stable and no vendettas had been taken. He assured that there was no room in this administration for vendettas, adding that it was not in his belief to target or prosecute based on political rivalry. He reiterated that this would be the policy going forward as well. This, he said, was to ensure peace and stability for the nation. Noting that peace and stability was essential in actualizing development, he appealed all to take part in ensuring peace and stability as well as the developmental initiatives. He added that peace and stability should be the highest priority for all citizens. The President noted that establishing peace and stability was the cornerstone of holistic development, stressing that hand in hand with infrastructural development, prioritizing on further developing bonds of kinship and camaraderie were crucial.
President Dr. Mohamed Moise pledges to eradicate corruption within Maldives Industrial Fishing Company, MIFCO, and implement the changes fishermen have long desired in the fisheries sector. He made these remarks while speaking to the media following his recent visit to several islands of Huadu Atoll.
Addressing the media, President Dr. Mohamed Moise noted the administration's significant efforts to bolster the fisheries industry, expressing his belief that fishing has the potential to become the Maldives' largest income-generating industry. He also reaffirmed the government's commitment to the development of the tourism industry, while also ensuring that the fishing industry remains a priority to further diversify the economy, emphasizing that the current highest priority within the fishing industry is to address the concerns of fishermen and finding amicable solutions. The president noted that the government has been consistently paying fishermen to their catch sold to MIFCO within 48 hours of sale. Highlighting that the government has fulfilled a pledge with this development, he assured the continuity of the practice. He also announced plans to provide affordable fuel for fishing vessels are already underway. Shedding light on other efforts to develop the fisheries industry, the president said the government is bringing about significant changes to MIFCO's operations. He stated that long-standing issues within the company are being resolved, adding that the company's management will be strengthened to align with the people's vision. Furthermore, President Dr. Muizzu stated that in order to further strengthen MIFCO's management, a foreign CEO has been appointed to the company. He revealed that the current changes brought to MIFCO aims to eliminate unnecessary expenses and improve efficiency. The government has also initiated several key projects to advance the fisheries sector, including the establishment of cold storage and processing plants. The president assured that the projects would progress as planned. He expressed confidence that the positive changes and improvements will prompt more benefits and revenue for the fishing industry, ultimately contributing to a stronger economy.
Speaker of Parliament Abdul Rahim Abdullah lauds President Dr. Mohammad Muiz for swift action taken by his administration to clamp down on rampant corruption and abuse of power in the Maldives.
In an interview with the national radio Divihiraj Jegadu, Speaker Abdul Rahim, who is also the ruling People's National Congress PNC chairman, said that the key to preventing corruption is to take swift action against perpetrators irrespective of their position or influence. He also blamed the failure to tackle corruption by previous administrations on the hesitancy to investigate and take action against senior government officials and close allies of former presidents accused of corruption and abuse of power. However, according to Speaker Abdul Rahim, President Dr. Muizzu's unyielding action to weed out corruption from the country has changed the picture completely. Maldives has long battled with blatant allegations of corruption and abuse of power against senior state officials. However, out of the few cases that have been investigated, a handful of perpetrators have faced justice. Incumbent President Dr. Muizzu took office in November 2023 with the promise to do better, taking a zero-tolerance firm stance on corruption and abuse of power. Putting words into action, the president began a systematic overhaul of the country's systems of governance and oversight to ensure complete transparency and accountability the public has been crying out for years. Despite his best efforts, this administration has now been rocked by allegations of fraud and corruption in the allocation of land and flats under the previous government's housing scheme. But true to his promise to the people, swift action has been taken. In less than 24 hours, the scandal came into light. Dozens of high-level officials, including the entire board of the Housing Development Corporation (HDC), at the forefront of the scandal have been suspended.
Minister of Islamic Affairs Dr. Muhammad Shaheen Ali Saeed departs to Pakistan to attend the Muslim World League conference. According to the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, Shaheen will represent the Maldives in the International Conference on Girls' Education in Muslim Communities, Challenges and Opportunities being held in Islamabad, Pakistan. Representing the Maldives and his esteemed position as the member of the Supreme Council of the Muslim World League, the ministry revealed that Minister Shaheen will deliver a distinguished speaker's note during the religious session, addressing critical aspects of education in Muslim communities. The conference is organized under the direction of the Prime Minister of Pakistan in collaboration with the Muslim World League. The two-day conference will offer a global platform to international as well as national scholars, intellectuals, academicians, practitioners and policy makers to engage in deliberations and suggest a way forward regarding female education in the Muslim world. Agriculture as an industry plays a pivotal role in the economy of a country. However, Maldives for years have largely overlooked its potential to force the island nation to heavily rely on essential agricultural imports, bleeding the country of its limited revenue.
The Maldives agriculture industry has huge potential. The country has abundant, agriculturally rich lands in the islands, and with modern technology and innovative farming techniques, Agriculture experts believe that the country can finally exploit its rich agricultural potential. After decades of neglect, the Maldives has finally witnessed a policy shift towards realizing its massive potential. Incumbent President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu, since assuming office in November 2023, has launched several initiatives towards reaching that goal through training and equipment for local farmers, complemented by efforts to boost the marketing of their produce. This administration is introducing modern methods to increase agricultural productivity to ensure food security in a country with limited resources. In that regard, a pilot project has been launched in Hanimado Agriculture Center, Hadal Atoll, with 3 types of vertical hydroponics set up on trial basis. The government has also aimed to plug the glaring gap of the lack of laboratory in Maldives to diagnose various types of plant disease, which remains a long-standing concern of local farmers. The government has started work to establish a national agricultural laboratory to address these concerns and aims to provide the service to farmers this year. To complement such infrastructure activities, the Ministry of Fisheries, Marine Resources and Agriculture is conducting many programs to strengthen the agriculture sector in the Maldives, including hydroponics, food security and farmer training programs. In addition, the ministry has launched a specially designed loan program aimed at providing financial assistance to local farmers. This loan program has been designed to encourage aspiring young farmers along with funding expansion of existing farmers. The ministry is also working on compiling a national register of farmers. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu also launched a major agricultural project in the Uturuti Lafaru to reduce Maldives' dependency on agricultural imports and ensure food security. In a bid to ensure legal protection for the agricultural industry, the government has drafted a Special Agriculture Act and submitted it to the Attorney General's office for review. Apart from agriculture, the next most notable effort by this administration is to task the Agriculture Ministry with a separate mandate on animal welfare. During the past year, the government has established a pet care facility for thousands of stray cats in the capital Male region. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Welfare is strengthening the laws and also formulating new laws and regulations to regulate the welfare of animals and livestock in the country. A new law on animal welfare has also been drafted and is currently reviewed by the AGO.
Maldives Inland Revenue Authority MIRA records $151.1 million in revenue collections last month.
According to MIRA, the figure is 4.7% more than the same period in 2023 and 20.1% more than the estimated revenue for December 2024. The increase in revenue in December 2024 compared to December 2023 was mainly due to higher revenue collections from GST, green tax and corporate social responsibility fees. In addition, the 5.7% increase in the number of tourist arrivals to the Maldives than estimated figures also contributed to the boost in revenue. The primary reason why December 2024 figures surpassed estimates by 20.1% was down to the increase in revenue from green tax, work permit fees, tourism GST, foreigners quota fees, and GST from other non-tourism sectors. Additionally, 17.5% of the revenue collected in December 2024 was under MIRA's enforcement measures. In December 2024, GST accounted for the largest share of revenue collections, which was reported at 57.34% of the total revenue, with $86.3 million. The second largest revenue contributor was from the tourism land rent, which amounted to $24.5 million. Income tax collection stood at $7.5 million, green tax at $7.09 million, airport development fee at $6.2 million, and departure tax at $6.1 million.
Sudan's Finance Minister Jibril Ibrahim says that the move by the Sudanese government to introduce new banknotes and compel people to open bank accounts has boosted bank deposits and with them the army's war effort.
The army's 2-year war against the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has devastated the economy, with the currency losing 3/4 of its value and driven half the population into hunger. Unlike in previous currency exchanges, in order to receive the new 500 and 1000 pound notes, people have had to deposit their old notes in a bank and are then allowed to withdraw limited amounts daily, drawing funds from a largely unbanked society into the system. Finance Minister Jibril Ibrahim said the initiative, launched in December with the explicit aim of making funds looted by the RSF worthless, had been a success, though he did not give a figure on how many Sudanese pounds had been deposited. Since the outbreak of the war, when RSF soldiers looted dozens of banks and blocked farming, the army-aligned government has struggled to pay salaries and finance essential goods such as medicine. Jibril said that the country has produced 64 tons of gold last year and officially exported around half, implying that the proportion of looted gold in army-controlled areas had fallen. A source at Sudan's central bank said the new notes had been printed in Russia, one of several foreign powers that have intervened on both sides. Critics say that the impact of the decision has been to exclude the millions who remain in the roughly half of the country controlled by the RSF from the financial sector and render their savings useless, in effect splitting the country. The RSF has said the move is illegal and cited it as one of the reasons for forming a parallel government in the territory it controls. Residents of areas under RSF control report using the old notes as well as electronic transfers, US dollars, and in some places, Chadian reals. But even in Port Sudan, the army's wartime capital, some residents have protested over the new bank notes. Traders say the process has dampened sales as many people still lack identification papers needed to open a bank account, while more lack smartphones for online transfers.
Scientists announces that the world just experienced the first full year in which global temperatures exceeded 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial times, with temperatures rising on every continent that brought heat waves, drought and extreme weather. The milestone was confirmed by the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service, C3S, which said climate change is pushing the planet's temperature to levels never before experienced by modern humans.
C3S Director Carlo Buontempo said that the trajectory is just incredible, describing how every month in 2024 was the warmest or second warmest for that month since records began. C3S said that the planet's average temperature in 2024 was 1.6 degrees Celsius higher than in 1850s to 1900s, the pre-industrial period before humans began burning carbon dioxide-emitting fossil fuels on a large scale. Last year was the world's hottest since records began, and each of the past 10 years was among the 10 warmest on record. Britain's Met Office confirmed 2024's likely breach of 1.5 degrees Celsius, while estimating a slightly lower average temperature of 1.53 degrees Celsius for the year. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said on December 30th that the highest temperatures of 2024 have crowned the last 10 years the hottest on record. Nearly 200 countries committed in the Paris Agreement to limit warming to as close as to 1.5 degrees Celsius as possible. While these records do not mean that the Paris Agreement's target has been reached, scientists expect the world will cross that threshold by the early 2030s. The first year above 1.5 degrees Celsius does not reach that target, which measures the longer-term average temperature. The C3S director said that rising greenhouse gas emissions meant the world was on track to soon also blow past the Paris goal, but that it was too late for countries to rapidly cut emissions to avoid warming rising further to disastrous levels. According to the 2024 UN Emissions Gap Report, the world is currently on track for as much as 3.1 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of this century, with global greenhouse gas emissions and fossil fuel use continuing to rise. The impacts of climate change are now visible on every single continent, affecting people from the richest to the poorest countries on Earth. Wildfires raging in California this week have killed at least 7 people and destroyed hundreds of homes.
The Lakers' match against the Charlotte Hornets has been postponed due to wildfires in Los Angeles, while the NFL moves Rams' playoff game to Arizona.
The NBA postponed Thursday's game between the Lakers and the Charlotte Hornets in Los Angeles due to the wildfires in the region, while the NFL's Los Angeles Rams decided to move their Monday playoff game to Arizona. Two massive wildfires that have ravaged Los Angeles County were burning uncontained on Thursday, 2 days after they ignited, but firefighters managed to beat back another blaze scorching the Hollywood Hills. Officials said that at least 7 people have been killed, thousands of structures have been destroyed, and nearly 180,000 people have been ordered to evacuate their homes. No makeup date for the games has been announced yet. ESPN reported that Lakers head coach J.J. Redick lost his house in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood of LA in the blaze. The NFL playoff game between Minnesota Vikings and the LA Rams will now be played in Arizona after wildfires ravaged the region surrounding the Rams SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The NFL said the decision to hold the wild card game at the home of the Arizona Cardinals in Glendale was made in the interest of public safety and after consultations with public officials, participating clubs, and the NFL Players Association. The team previously said the game would be moved to State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona if necessary. The Palisades fire between Santa Monica and Malibu on the city's western flank and the Eaton fire in the east near Pasadena are the most destructive in LA history, consuming nearly 28,000 acres and turning entire neighborhoods to ash.
L'Oreal unveils its cell bioprint technology at CES 2025, offering a futuristic approach to skincare.
L'Oreal said that the portable device provides a detailed skin analysis in 5 minutes, powered by technology available via a partnership with Korean startup NanoEntech.
A collaboration with NanoEntech, an innovative Korean startup that we have an exclusivity with, that has developed essentially a way to measure these biomarkers that typically would be on a lab, but as simple as putting it on a chip with microfluidics that then goes into the bioprint machine, and within 5 minutes you will have all those measurements of your biomarkers that would typically take a few days to measure in a laboratory.
The L'Oreal Cell Bioprint works by analyzing biomarkers in the skin, revealing information such as biological age, ingredient responsiveness, and potential future skin issues. A small skin sample is collected via a facial tape strip, processed using a microfluidic lab-on-a-chip cartridge, and analyzed for key biomarkers related to skin aging, a process demonstrated at CES.
What the bioprint technology will do is it will tell you about the risk levels that you have of getting certain skin signs in the future, and that will allow you to be able to pick products about things that you can actually prevent and correct over time.
Leader of L'Oreal's Open Innovation and Tech team said that the analysis can predict skin concerns like dark spots and enlarged pores before they appear, offering consumers tailored advice on which ingredients will be most effective for their skin. L'Oreal plans to launch the technology in late 2025.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
मी ज़मान तक वंदन हल्लु नुवै गेतोरुगे मस्तदे ताबद इरादु कविया हल्लु दिंदान हल्लु कोद्दे
ಅಳಗಣ್ಮೆಂಗೆ ಮೀ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ಗಿನ ಮಶ್ರೂತಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರಿಯಂಗೆ ಬಗೆಂದೆ ಉಮ್ರಾಣಿ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ